Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Jedi.
I'm the Witch.
And today we are taking you to Senoia in Georgia. It's only about 25 minutes from where we live, and there's one major show that filmed in Senoia. Most of you probably already know what it is, but Senoia was home of The Walking Dead for 10 years, starting with season 2. All right, so we're going to take you around to the various locations that are in this one little area here, and then we'll branch off a couple of miles to show you a couple other little locations nearby, and just have a good time. It's fun.
Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Dean right now is sporting his support for the Senoia tourism here. Senoia's biggest fan.
Center of The Walking Dead universe.
What is your relation to The Walking Dead?
I was one of the lucky ones to actually be a part of The Walking Dead. I was a background performer for the final season. I did 3 episodes. You can see me in 2 of those episodes, and maybe we'll throw a picture in there from the episodes, but I was in the series finale too.
We can put a list of what episode, what time spot it is down in the comments.
Right on. Let's go.
Okay, I am sporting a t-shirt from the restaurant Nick and Norman's, and only in Senoia.
Who are Nick and Norman?
So glad you asked that, babe. Nick and Norman's are owned by Nick.
She is wearing a Nick and Norman shirt owned by Norman Reedus and Greg Nicotero. Greg Nicotero was one of the creators of the show and a famous makeup artist. So she's wearing that, and we'll show you where that is. It is in Senoia. So this lake here in Senoia, this is a man-made lake. It is not native to the region, but the story goes that the gentleman who built this lake built it as a love gift for his wife. And if you will notice, you take a close look at it, it is in the shape of a heart to signify his love for his wife. And all I have to say about that is, way to up the game for the rest of us, man.
Just we want to make a full disclosure about all these houses that we're visiting. They are private residences, so if you do come out and visit to see and take pictures, be respectful because this is somebody's home.
Yeah, they'll hit you in the head with a bat. All right, so we are on Pilot Street. Pilot Street was used for lots of different locations, and locations that weren't necessarily in the same place in the show. All right, but this house right here is pretty famous, and most of you know, probably who's watching this, what it is. And this is quote unquote the Puddin' House. This is the house that Carl went to on his own and had to fight off a zombie, and he sat right there on the little overhang eating a big old thing of pudding that he found in the kitchen, and there was a zombie hand reaching out trying to get him and all that. But yeah, this is the Puddin' House. Pretty neat. Across the street at this house, this is where when Carl was leading the zombies away from his dad, who was in a coma, at a different house on this same street. This is where he tripped over a zombie and then ended up using some bullets and shooting the 3 zombies on his own. So, as we say, Carl became a man that day. He took on 3 zombies and won. But when they filmed it, I think the white picket fence wasn't there, but it is there now. And it's interesting is these houses in Senoia, man, they date way, way back. This house is from 1893. Probably never knew they'd be filming a zombie show here, huh? All right, so this house across the street, all right, nothing to do with The Walking Dead, but it's interesting for a particular reason. If you look at it straight on, you'll notice something really odd about the house.
See if you notice it right away. Felt straight on?
Yeah.
Yep. Get in a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, if you notice, the door is off center. And the story goes that the girl, his father built this house for her when she got married. Nice guy, building his daughter a house. And she had a grand piano that she wanted to keep in the front window of the house, but she didn't want the door to keep smacking into the grand piano. And so he built her a house with the door off center. And at least it's a little symmetrical because the top level is also off center. So, you know, but hey, it's easy to find in Senoia. We live in the house with the door off center. So this is Morgan Street. This is the only street that goes through Alexandria that you can actually drive on. However, the people who live here are really particular about Walking Dead fans, and so we don't want to linger here. So we can watch, we're gonna turn the camera around. You can see this house right here on the end, this little gray, kind of off-white with a gray roof. That's where Rick threw a guy out a window in Alexandria. All right, you can see there's a tour going on right now, but look right down this road. It's Rick's house. All right, Rick's house is down there.
Okay.
All right, and it's also where Negan had a pool. I know, had the pool table set up and gutted somebody with a knife. And this area right here, when Negan pays his first visit to Alexandria, this is where the gate was. When he goes, little pig, let me in. And there's that yapping dog. Every time we drive through here, that dog yaps at us. All right, so this bridge right here, for The Walking Dead, they actually converted it to a tunnel. Took them about a week, and it was a tunnel that you saw Melissa McBride and a couple others as they're walking around, and yeah, so it took them a week to do that. Now, some of you may recognize this bridge from another movie entirely. If you've ever seen Fried Green Tomatoes, something rather tragic happens on this bridge in that movie. No spoilers. Now over here, this house right over here is the Fried Green Tomatoes house. This is the house where the little old ladies lived in. All right, and they've also used this house in one of the Conjuring movies. Alright, so this is the Veranda Inn. It's been here since like 1906, I believe. That's what it says, circa 1906. Although this house wasn't used in any episode of Walking Dead that I'm aware of, they did put up some people here while they were filming The Walking Dead here in Senoia, and one of them being John Bernthal, who everyone knows played Shane. Also, legend has it that this house is haunted. Alright, a lot of old houses, gonna have a lot of restless spirits. This one apparently is haunted by a little child though. So kind of creepy, but they say rooms 5 and 7. So if you ever stay at the Veranda Inn in Senoia, ask for one of those rooms. So I want to point out that there is a lot of new construction happening here in Senoia. I mean, right behind me, obviously it looks like they're building a some kind of shopping plaza.
The lofts, I think it said.
The lofts. Also,
there we go. They're building right over there.
Barn Street Retail and Lofts. They also paved Pilot Street. They're redoing the churches in town and all that. This town was basically held hostage for 10 years by AMC and Walking Dead. Don't worry, the residents in the town was compensated for being held hostage. But they couldn't do anything because they wanted a post-apocalyptic place. So now that the show is over, man, they were paving Pilot Street like the week after they finished filming here in Senoia. All right, so the town's gonna look a little different. If you come here and like, it doesn't look like it's post-apocalyptic, it looks like it's brand new. That's because they're trying to beautify Senoia now. Anyway, so yeah, lots of new construction. This house right here, it's a converted church, and as you can tell with the two doors, it was owned by Chandler Riggs for a short period of time. You know, he was filming the show here. He's like, oh man, it's gonna be awesome. I'm playing Carl on the biggest show in the world. I'm gonna be on this show forever. Then he bought the house, And then they're like, oh, guess what? We're killing you off. Even though your character survived in the comics. So poor Chandler Riggs had to sell his house. But the people who bought it turned it into something really super nice. And if you notice, there was, when we're driving by, there was a grave in front of the house. And that is Mr. Pilot's grave. And we're on Pilot Street. Many of the streets in this town are named after some of the town founders. And Mr. Pilot was one of them. That is the road to Terminus. The railroad tracks that they used when they were going to Terminus. And I heard there's good cooking in Terminus. All right, so this is Alexandria. During the show, they obviously there was a giant fence around it. So those are the fence panels. What's left of the fence panels, and we'll show you in a second where they put a memorial fence panel up down the road there. But those panels, when they came down, the guy who owns all this property, he was just going to scrap it. So as far as we know, most of it's been scrapped, except for a few things. When I was on the show, we filmed here. It was, oh man, it was so cold. It was like 29 degrees, and this house right on the corner here, this really skinny one, that was background holding. So there were probably about 100 of us spread out between that house and I think the third house in, and that's where the heaters were. Right. So when it came time for us to come out, and we were doing a scene in front of the windmill. Those of you who have seen the show by this point, it's where Rosita comes out looking for her baby. Where's my baby? Where's my baby? And it was in front of the windmill. So they brought us out here, and we stood out here for probably an hour and a half, and the wind just came over those gates, and it was so flippin' cold. Now, your main actors, they all had like their coat wranglers and their own heaters, right? So they do their scene. As soon as they were done, here's your coat, Mr. Reedus, and they put it right on him. The rest of us are like, where's our coat, man? Where's our coat? We're so cold. We're huddling together like we're trying to keep warm.
But we're background, so.
Yeah, we're just background, so we're just fancy set decoration. Overall, though, it was a fun experience, and it was neat to watch the actors and how they prepared. JDM, he would be like goofing with somebody right there.
Hey, Dean.
Yeah.
Who's JDM?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
That's right.
He played Negan, those of you who don't know. But he'd be goofing with somebody, goofing, and they're like, okay, and action. And he'd be like goofing. And I'm all Negan-ish. Oh, look, she's about to kill somebody using a zombie in the face. So that was really cool. And then Norman Reedus was off in the corner just doing his thing. He only had to come in and say something, and that was about it. These were your main brownstones. And the one over here on our right, that is where they interviewed prospective Alexandrians when they first came. So Rick was being interviewed there. And then the one on the very end, down at the bottom level, that was the jail cell where they kept Negan. And then they did a time jump, so Negan was in the jail cell for a long time. But they actually built the cell in the bottom part of that brownstone. So as far as I know, it's still there. And then the one in the middle right there, that's where they filmed Michonne when she had a flashback of her time in Atlanta. And so they filmed inside, and then she was looking out the window, and then they just CG'd Atlanta through the window. The windmill was over here, and then the meeting house church was right here, and you had your solar panels along the edge, and the fence was here. Over here where this, where it says Lower Creek Road, that was the main entrance to Alexandria for the last couple of seasons, was there. And there are multiple entrances throughout the series run, but that was the one from the last bit. This is all private property, so you cannot go past here and go over there, all right? We can stand on this public road and stare at these people and go, hey man, you were in Walking Dead, that's awesome. All right, but you cannot go here, all right? So do not walk onto the property. Got it? Got it. Good. Also, just over here towards the panel's right was where Carl found the underground sewer that goes underneath Alexandria. Yeah, it was just a fake hole in the ground. If you want to own one of these houses, they're available starting at the 700s. Now, like I said, I have been inside one of these houses, and it's pretty and it's nice, but 700 plus? Nope. The only reason why they're going for so much is because of their association with the show. Now, right when they were done filming, I thought, wouldn't it be really cool if they left the fence up and made it a gated community within Senoia called Alexandria? That would have been really awesome. But that was not in the cards for the owner of the gin property. All right, and it's called the gin property because it used to be a cotton gin that sat here. Unfortunately, it was just really sad to watch them tear things down. The windmill, it took them like 2 weeks to tear that down. The meeting house, the fence was the last thing to come down because they didn't want greedy Walking Dead fans walking in there and stealing parts of the set, especially the houses. Yeah, I really wish they had left the fence up and just called it a gated community called Alexandria. All right, so this house on the corner right here. This house was used in one episode of the series, and there was an episode, one of my favorites in season 10, one of my favorites in general, not just because I'm a Negan fan, but because the episode is so good. An episode called Here's Negan, based on a comic of the same name, and this was Negan Smith's house. So this is where his wife Lucille, yes, he named his bat after his wife, was sick. She had cancer, and this was their house. And it showed the evolution of a guy who got fired because he attacked a kid as he was a gym teacher and all that, and showed, you know, his utter, you know, just done with life kind of thing, life's kicking him in the ass, and how you can go from just being a regular guy essentially to being a mass murderer. That's what Negan was. The part where Negan can't bring himself to kill the zombie, and so Lucille does it, is on the side of the house over here.
This is privately owned. All these people, these all are owned by people, and we have to respect their property, that they don't need trespassers. They were already compensated for the filming that has been done on their house, and now they have to endure the tourists and fans of the shows to come. But I think, to my knowledge, this house has been sold. Yeah. This house was sold since the production, so now it's their problem. And think about,
they knew what they were getting into.
So maybe they wanted it. But in another video we're gonna do on Stranger Things, and the buyer's house kind of suffered the same fate as well. But that's another video.
Yeah, and this house right next to it, though nowhere near it in the series, is this house, and this is where Carl and Rick come to after the farm has been overrun. They call it the coma house because Rick kind of went into a coma for a little while. But this is that house, and it's also the house where Rick escapes and he's hanging from the rain gutter there and all that. So yeah, and if you look just right there, you'll see a little sign on something, and that's the tricycle. And if you watch the episode, that tricycle is in the episode, so it hasn't been moved. So I don't know if that's where Grammy left it the last time she wrote it or what, but there it sits as a lawn decoration. And all these houses are on Pilot Street, and this is one I was saying that is freshly paved. As you can see, it's mostly freshly paved now, but it was just all overgrown. And they actually had the people who lived around here not mow their grass. When they were done filming, they gave them money to buy somebody to come mow their grass for them. So that was kind of nice. But AMC always kept a nice relationship with the people in this town because they knew there'd be half and half, right? Half people would be like, "That's awesome, the show is being filmed here." Other half would be like, "Get off my lawn," you know? So for the most part, everyone was taken care of by AMC.
Alexandria gates. These gates stood at the northwest entrance to the Alexandria Safe Zone, later known as Outpost 22 of the Commonwealth. And of course, this display was made possible by the generosity of AMC Networks.
All right, so this was the door to Alexandria, in that one little spot we were just at. For the longest time, this Outpost 22 Commonwealth was covered with plywood because they didn't want any spoilers getting out that the Commonwealth had taken over Alexandria. And if you haven't finished the series, sorry, spoiler, but it's been a long time. Again, the guy who took down the wall put this over here, and he also has 2 more little memorial areas for Walking Dead, and we'll show you that. All right, so in this building here, this is actually, it's like part of it is open and part of it's covered. It's now a farmer's market and open on Saturdays. But within this building were several different areas. One was Milton's laboratory during the Woodbury days. And the governor's scientist was trying to figure out a cure, or just about how long do zombies remember their old lives when they actually turn to zombies. Character played by Dallas Roberts. A little side note, Dallas and I were old schoolmates. He went to the same community college that I did before he went to Juilliard and became a world famous actor. But really super duper nice guy. But he played Milton, and Milton's lab was in this building. It's also where the governor interrogated Maggie and Glenn. All right, I say interrogated, but he got pretty frisky with Maggie.
Grain Silo, the Alexandria Safe Zone. AMC's The Walking Dead.
So this silo used to be in Alexandria, and they moved this over here. All right, and this building is also where Andrea met her end. And if you guys remember how that happened, right? The governor kills Milton, lets him turn into a zombie. Andrea's tied up. Milton comes, bites Andrea, and then Michonne shows up, and Andrea pops herself in the head to commit herself before she turns into a zombie. But you'll notice on the side here, they've moved the memorial wall that they wrote the names of people who passed within the Alexandrians, and they moved it here now. So you can see this. You can go ahead and walk up here. This area was also where Michonne came out to inspect the National Guard vehicles that the governor found, quote unquote. Everybody was dead when I got there. Yeah, baloney. She saw the bullet holes in the vehicles, and it was this little section right here where they filmed that. Oh, look, there's Glenn's name. Hey, he had it coming. All right, so this Mason Lodge here in downtown Senoia, it was used for multiple locations during the show, but probably it's most familiar as the Armory, and it's where the governor interrogated Michonne, asking her what you doing here and all that, was inside this building here, right next door. This section here was used when Eugene came out and he was looking for a certain woman, and he saw this little figure stand up top there, and then she fades away. He was standing right there, looking right up there. And also, there's an alley down here. This alleyway right here is where Eugene burned his manuscript. You know, he was all emo and sad for a while. Looking across the way at that building over there, that, prior to the show being filmed here, was a metal warehouse building. All right, it's a one-story warehouse, and when they decided to film here, they're like, that's kind of ugly. Will you let us put a fake front on it? And they're like, sure, what the heck? So the Holbergs allowed them to put a fake front. So all those doors and windows you see, those are all fake. Those doors go nowhere. All right, and so if you go up and you pound on the wall, it sounds hollow. All right, so this is the false front I was talking about. But listen,
hold on, wait.
When this truck goes by, trucks are so loud, and there's so many in rural Georgia.
All right, do it again.
All right, this is the false front I was talking about. Come real close, come. Now listen. See? And if you look, there is nothing there. It's completely blank. Now look straight up at those windows, and you'll see that the little window pane things.
They're not supposed to be bendy.
No. They're coming out because that's not real. Yeah. But it looks like it normally should look on the back side of this building. But for the front shots, they went ahead and added this false front. And I imagine it's going to stay here forever.
Why move it?
Right? It just costs more to take it down.
Welcome to Woodbury.
Right? Apparently while they were filming, they had fans would come here and open the door because they wanted to go inside, and they go right into smack into a wall. But that's where the florist, the bank, and I believe a bookstore of Woodbury were. Right across the street, you'll see Nick and Norman's. All right, and yes, both of them come here every once in a while to check out how the restaurant's going and chill out. But we know right now that Norman Reedus is in Paris filming with Melissa McBride. So all you fans who thought she wasn't going to be in that show, woo, they surprised you. So how he gets to Paris, haven't a clue. I want to know though. But so yeah, that's Nick and Norman's right there. So this area here, it now says Barn Street Market. It was built in 2017. So when they were filming Woodbury in Senoia, this was a vacant lot. And so this is where the Woodbury Town Hall was, where the governor comes out and talks to the people, and then it gets burnt down and all that. It was completely false front. And so they built this to look kind of like New Orleans. So if you can see, we've got like open tops there. And they did use this section in the final season. It is where Daryl lived, right up there in the top apartment. He and Judith shared an apartment. So behind me now, this is now the Senoia Beer Company. During the Woodbury days, it was the location of the Woodbury coffee shop. All right, everything's kind of been changed. The building's been painted, the awning's been changed and all that, but the Woodbury coffee shop sign is still inside the Senoia Beer Company. And actually, a bunch of really nice guys in Senoia Beer Company. So when you're in Senoia, check them out. They brew their own, and it's really good. Right here in Senoia, that's where the big massive flatbed was parked to keep the zombies out. All right, it was parked there also to kind of block that post office, which is right there. Fox Hollow Antiques. This is the only building that actually used the actual sign in the show. Was Fox Hollow Antiques in Woodbury as well. Those giraffes, they've given them names. It's Carl with the eye patch, and Michonne is the taller giraffe. You know, because Michonne was a much better mother to Carl than Lori ever was, or could have been. Although, if you watch that scene, Lori dies and you're not crying, you got no soul. That is a classic scene and heartrending. And you know, Carl, little Chandler Riggs, was only like 10, 11 when that scene was filmed. So kudos to you, Chandler Riggs. You're kicking ass as a kid actor. All right, so this here, this is where Andrea met with Milton to talk about their concerns about the governor. All right, so this is a lovely little shot, and apparently a lot of locals use it for like prom photos and that kind of thing. And it was also used in later seasons as another alleyway, entirely different. But yeah, this is awesome. So in certain wide shots in Woodbury, especially when Andrea kills a zombie that comes out, you will see these doors, all right, in this building. And going up top of the building here, that was where you see the governor looking out towards all the ruckus that's going on. And this was the outside of the governor's apartment, although the inside of the apartment was filmed at the studio not far up the road. So this road here, this is CV Street. When Merle comes to talk to the governor about things that are going down, and the governor is shooting golf balls, he is shooting his golf ball down that way from the top of a trailer. So this is the road you see when you look down their shot when Merle climbs on top of the trailer. It's right down CV Street. Also McGuire's, really good pub as well, and a lot of the actors hung out there when they weren't filming. McGuire's pub, you have to walk down to get to it. But yeah, really good place. This is the Walking Dead, official Walking Dead museum and Walking Dead store. When in Senoia, you have to make this a stop for you. Inside, they've got costume, props. Also, the wall has been signed by most of the major players in the television series. And then if you want something Walking Dead to take home with you, the store has a bunch of good stuff. Also, within this same building is something called Abraham's Army, and the guy is an artist, and he looks just like Michael.
Oh. Did you see that you can get a coin purse of Glenn's ear?
Oh.
That's horrifying.
That's awesome.
Wait, whose ear is it?
It's his ear that you're holding in your hand.
This is Abraham Curry. Guy's awesome. You're a wonderful artist, man. I love your work.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh.
Woo! Tell me you're a Band of Brothers fan too, right?
I watched it, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Of course.
Yep.
And I'm going to watch Superman and Lewis.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right. You know, I like Michael Cutlets a lot since.
Baby, give me a thing.
I love Michael Cutlets since Band of Brothers, and then it's always on Walking Dead. I'm like, that's so
Yeah, he did a
awesome.
lot of stuff. He was in Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah.
He was in the Negotiator and all this kind of stuff.
Yep. We won't bother you. I know you're on time.
Sorry.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
right, so this building here, this old wooden shack, that was the place where Tara stopped on her way back from Oceanside to get a gift for her girlfriend. Of course, her girlfriend was already gone, but they used this building here, both inside and the backside, as the little tchotchke curio shop that she stopped in. This building is from the 1830s.
Yeah.
Yeah, love these cars, man.
All right, guys, so thanks for watching our video on The Walking Dead in locations in Senoia. So if you liked our video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Help us out.
That's right. And we will be making a part 2 where we do a couple more locations within the surrounding area of Senoia. We might even take you down to the studio area. So thanks, guys.
Thanks
We'll
for
see you
watching.
next time.
Yep.
I am Jedi.
And I'm the witch. Bye.